wanted a Salford Red Devils 22. Who needs Robbie Williams tributes in the stand saying, let me entertain you, when you've got teams on the field that can produce a spectacle like that? Oh, yes, it was a feast for the eyes. It was a taste sensation for the taste buds, wasn't it? Outstanding stuff on the field of play. Started brilliantly, of course, for the Leigh Leopards with that early Josh Charlie try yet again. That looping ball from Lachlan Lamb causing havoc in Super League this year. But yeah, Salford from there, of course, started then to impose themselves and really got handle on the game before that late surge by Leigh. And I think actually on the day, Leigh can be a little bit aggrieved. I think a couple of the decisions did go against him. I mean, that try for Kai O'Donnell, can somebody please tell me where the forward pass was? Unbelievable. And that in itself could have been a game changer in this one. Edwin Mbappe, outstanding. You know, that's his best performance, I believe, thus far this season. Really imposing, ran fantastically well from dummy half, caused a lot of problems for that Salford Red Devils defence. Yeah, very impressive. We'll keep an eye on Edwin as the season progresses. But that, for me, clearly his best performance to date. Chamberlain in the centres. Not 100% sure he's of the right quality for Super League. I'm sorry to say that, but I think for me, made some really poor decisions on that right edge. I thought Briscoe looked leggy as well. All right, he scored his try, but I have to say, you know, I think we'd all agree that Briscoe's pace now is not what it once was. So that right-hand side for me was a bit of a, what wasn't quite functioning as I expected to, albeit, of course, you know, Briscoe did get that try. And I think, you know, the Gareth O'Brien effect really affected Leigh in this game, missing him obviously through HIA this week, and that of course meant that Hardacre had to go back to full back. And I think had Hardacre been in the centres, they'd have been a little bit more potent. Take nothing away from Salford. You know, Sam Stone will have really liked his try against his former employers, wouldn't he? That was a nice moment for him. And of course, Brodie Croft. You know, the spine very similar actually to the first game of the season. You know, Briley, Croft, and Steed really having a solid game at the Leigh Sports Village, and it made for, you know, a really good pacey game for Salford that they did really well. One of the things that affected Leigh in this game was their errors. 11 errors in this game. You know, their composure at key moments in the game let them down, none more so than when Briley was sent for 10. You know, that was a moment where, you know, they should have just basically worked through the sets, gone for repeat sets and tried to work the overlap, which of course they did superbly well. I think in the second phase when they got the ball back after the first set of six after Briley went off. But you know, they should have just had that little bit more composure at that point, and who knows what could have happened. As for Briley, that's his second yellow of the season. Of course, he was sent to the stands at the Halliwell Jones earlier in the campaign, and that's got to concern Paul Rowley. You know, you can't afford to be losing your fullback, and both very similar incidents. You know, lying on. You know, he's been caught out a couple of times now. You know, as much as on this occasion, it didn't affect Salford. And you saw the reaction of Briley when Salford, I think it was the Tyler Dupree's try, you know, the relief on the face of Ryan Brearley, you know, on the touchline. He knew that yet again he could have cost his team a very vital 2 points. But on this occasion, they got away with it. And I'm sure, like I say, Paul Rowley will wish to address that as the season unfolds. So still plenty, I think, for Leigh to be very happy about. I think, you know, they said on Sky, didn't they? Every game this year, Leigh have been competitive, and that is what I think is going to make sure that they remain in Super League for 2024. An incredibly good, well-drilled machine that can only get better. And I think once they get O'Brien back this week, there'll be a different unit altogether. As for Salford, well, they've done what they needed to do. That's 4 points now that they've got out of the Leigh Sports Village this year. It's a very good hunting ground for them, isn't it? And of course, it gives them a really good, solid foothold now in those playoff positions. So Salford will be delighted, I'm sure. As for Leigh, equally, nothing to be really concerned about. They will march on into next week. This has been In the Sheds. I hope you enjoyed it.